Hey y'all, and welcome to We Don't Owe You Shit, Episode 1. First of all, I want to thank y'all so much for even being here, for clicking the link, sharing the link, wanting to hear my fuck shit. Um, I really appreciate you. I'm going to start off by saying I say a lot, okay? It's part of me being a human being. I'm not a robot. When I'm thinking, I say and I'm thinking all the time. So I'm going to say a lot. Okay? I wanted to tell you guys who I am first, just in case you don't know me. So my name is Caden. I am a 36-year-old, I'll be 37 this year, transgender man and seahorse dad. I'm an educator, a advocate, a keynote speaker, author, all of the things. I have two beautiful kids, Azalea and Journey. I'm not going to get into too much about that right now. I've been doing advocacy work for a lot longer than people know. I've been doing this work since about 2015, after I had Azalea. If you have kids, you know. If you have more than one kid, you know that sometimes you're just going to call one kid the other. Sometimes I call the dog Journey. It's not that I think Journey's a dog, it's just what happens. They're all my kids. Anyway, so that's a little bit about me. I'm black, gay, trans. I got a lot of intersecting identities, and we'll talk about that too. So I wanted to tell you what prompted me to actually make this podcast. One, people kept telling me I needed to make a podcast. I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And I decided that this year, 2023, was going to be the year where I stopped putting things off and I stopped getting in my own way. And honestly, I encourage you to do the same because we got voices and they need to be heard. And a lot of the times, we get in our own way, and we need to stop doing that. But also, I am so tired of being punished on these social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, for defending myself and my community, whether it be the black community, the trans community, the gay community, the LGBT community, disabled people. I seem to get punished for defending when it seems like white people, especially, but white people, cisgender people, heterosexual people, they get to say whatever the fuck they want to say without any kind of reprimand. But I'm watching trans, black, queer people get banned and suspended left and right. Tired of it. So this is my space where I get to say whatever the fuck I want to say. That being said, I hope you're ready. It's going to be a ride. Because it really does feel like these platforms are out to get us. Tell me I'm lying. It feels like these platforms are out to get us. If you're trans, if you're a part of the LGBT community, add the layer of being black. It seems like no matter what we do, no matter how we say it, no matter what happens, they are trying to demonetize us. They are trying to get rid of our content. They do not want us on these platforms. Because you want to know why it is? We're making too much sense. And I, for one, am tired of tiptoeing. So, once again, welcome to We Don't Owe You Shit. Who is we? We are the marginalized groups. We are the trans people. We are the gay people. We are the lesbians. We are the bisexuals, the trisexuals, the pansexuals, the disabled people, the black people, the brown people, the fat people. We are the marginalized. We are the oppressed. We are going to be talking about a whole lot of shit. A whole lot of shit. And I thought, how appropriate is it to give y'all a little short episode to kick off Black History Month? So yeah, I said that the debut of the podcast Wasn't happening until next Tuesday, which would be the 7th of February. I lied. And you know what? I can do this. I can do that because this is my platform. Mine. I do everything on my time. So in the honor of being blackety black, I decided I'm going to drop an episode today. What am I going to talk about, though? I'm going to start off with a little bit of controversy. And that controversy is being trans does not automatically make you an advocate and an educator. I'm going to say it again. Being trans does not automatically make you an advocate and an educator. You are not automatically an expert just because you are trans. I'm going to give you 2 seconds to take that in. What do I mean? What do I mean by you're not automatically an expert, you're not automatically an educator, you're not automatically an advocate? I mean exactly what I say. So many people transition and don't even know what transitioning means. They don't know proper terminologies. They don't know anything except for what they've seen in a couple of YouTube videos. They're just out here honestly causing harm. I feel like, for example, if your point of view as a trans person is rooted in biases, for example, if you're a trans man who feels like a trans man is not a man if he's never taken hormones, or if he doesn't want bottom surgery, or if he doesn't want top surgery, or you think that trans women are still men if they still have their bottom parts, or still use them rather. If you feel like non-binary people cause confusion, if you feel like non-binary people are not valid, or if you feel like trans men who get pregnant somehow sully your name as a trans man, as a man, I want you, shut it up. If you hold those biases, you are automatically not for our community, and I want you to just be quiet. Okay? What I've noticed about people like that is what you do is you find the most problematic, sexist, misogynistic, transphobic things, and you start your comment off with, as a trans man, because you know that adding an as a trans man will, or as a transgender person, will somehow validate whatever transphobic, homophobic, misogynistic, just turf-filled rhetoric. It will validate that for you. And people who are trying to cause harm will grab hold of that comment and say, look, this trans man agrees with me. Because all it takes is one, because they see us as trans people as a monolith. We're all the same person. We all transition for the same reasons. We're all on the same journey. We're all trying to do the same things. So all it takes is that, as a trans man, please stop doing that shit. Stop it. Stop. If you want cis people to accept you as trans, they never will. Or as cis passing, or even accept you as a trans person, they never will. They will use you up to further their point and spit you back out with the rest of us trans people. If they do not see trans people as human beings, you siding with them or trying to play devil's advocate will not make you any more palatable, will not make you any more accepted. They're not going to invite you to the barbecue. Let that go. If you have never educated yourself beyond your own journey on transness, you're not an educator. Stop getting up on these platforms and spouting information as though they're facts without first letting people know that this is just your experience and is not encompassing of the entire trans community. You cannot teach on transness just from your perspective. Do some research. Your doctor, that same doctor that prescribed you testosterone can also be wrong. Do your own research. Do your own research and make sure that that research is rooted in fact and not your own personal biases. It's not that difficult. Okay? Lived experience trumps all when it comes to transness. Lived experience trumps all when it comes to transness. What do I mean by that? Do I mean that your own personal experience trumps all? No. But if you have community and you notice that the majority of your community is experiencing the same issues, being told the same lies, being fed the same rhetoric.
I found this on the web.
Girl, I didn't ask you. Then that is the lived experience that I'm talking about. For example, what do I mean? Trans people being told that testosterone may make being pregnant unsafe. We know that to be false because of the lived experience of people like myself who have carried multiple children at this point, and those children are perfectly healthy despite me being on testosterone for now 15 years, 14 years, right? So that's what I mean by lived experience, okay? So we're in Black History Month. We are in Black History Month. We're kicking off Black History Month. It is February 1st, 2023. And this is the 1 month we get to be blackity black, black, black. Out loud, right? So I'm going to just go ahead and say it. I'm going to say what everybody else has been thinking. If you are white and trans, you have no business teaching diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings. I'm going to say it again. If you are white and trans, you have no business teaching diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings. Because the only thing that you're even remotely qualified to teach about is you being trans. You cannot teach about diversity, you cannot teach about equity, and you cannot teach about inclusion. Stop taking money out of people who actually have lived this, that can teach from lived experience, from actual experience, people that have actually, Black people who have actually experienced racism and oppression. Stop taking money out of their pockets, because you already know as a white person, let's be real. You already know as a white person that you're more likely to get hired for those jobs, for those paid jobs, because you're white. Stop it. I said what I said. Be mad about it. Okay? And in the vein of Black History Month, organizations, corporations, etc. I know that you think this is the month that you should be promoting how much you love Black people despite the rest of the year proving that you don't. But hear me out and hear me good. Stop hitting up Black people, asking them to promote your brands, to promote your products for free. Stop hitting up Black people, asking for our labor for free just because it's Black History Month. You can go to the deepest, darkest parts of hell, because there's never been a time when I've been able to go up to my rental office. Never been a time when I've been able to pay my rent with exposure. There's never been a time when I've been able to take that gift that you offered me in exchange and hand it to my landlord for monetary value. Stop playing in our faces like that. If you're getting paid, we should be getting paid. Period. Point blank. I said what I said. Okay. And now it's time for Caden Reads. This segment of Caden Reads is brought to you by Black History Month, the 1 month a year where we get to be Black out loud and not be called reverse racists. Um, Now, this is our debut podcast. So this segment is going to be me picking a random bigot or transphobe or homophobe or racist or whatever, and I'm going to read their eyeballs out. But in honor of Black History Month, yes, I'm going to read the Black cisgender community. You might have seen in the recent weeks a post going around by the Transcultural Mindfulness Alliance saying that the trans community was upset about the Aretha Franklin song A Natural Woman because it was transphobic. Right? I saw it. I ignored it because I knew that that was just ridiculous. It made no sense. Wait, did it stop? Oh, okay. I thought it stopped recording. It made no sense, so I didn't pay it no mind. I saw so many people, cisgender Black people, rushing, bombarding the comments of sites like the Shade Room, you know, those gossip columns, rushing the comments to be transphobic. Did you forget that Black trans people exist? Did you forget? I think y'all forget that Black trans people exist. And then when that same source came out and was like, hey, this is a parody / satire account, that wasn't serious. There wasn't not one apology. Not one of these gossip columns, not one of these transphobic, hateful ass people apologized to the trans community. Where's the accountability, Black people? You think you're safe because it's Black History Month? No. You can't love Black people and exclude trans people from that conversation. Let me tell you something. Y'all are not pro-Black. You were pro-Black cisgender heterosexual. You were pro-Black cisgender heterosexual, I might accept gay people. But you were not pro-Black. Pro-Blackness includes all of my Blackness, in all of my transness, in all of my gayness, in all of my queerness, in all of me. Pro-Black. A lot of y'all take any opportunity that you can to tear down, especially trans women, especially Black trans women. And I see a lot of cisgender Black women tearing down trans women. Let me tell you something. You're really upset at trans women because you think that they're trying to take your man. I want you to understand that most trans women do not want your ashy dick, no ass wiping, skid mark having, little pee having, don't wash his ass every day, probably got on the same pair of crunchy ass socks, struggle beard having baby daddy. They don't want him. They don't want him. But you know what? He wants them. I long for the day where somebody hacks these trans women's inboxes and exposes all of these Black men that get up on these profiles and talk proudly about how they would murder Black trans women and trans women for tricking them. But those are the same ones paying top dollar on Backpage, when Backpage existed. There, if you looked at their porn history, if you looked at when what was it called? Not misconnections. The anonymous part on Craigslist, they were all willing to pay. They were all willing to pay top dollar when they realize that a person is trans. Let me tell you something out loud and on these social media platforms. They like, y'all, this is really a man. Be careful out there. But they're in that lady's inbox. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Do not be fooled. And also, women, y'all men is in our inbox as trans men because they're attracted to men. Because they're attracted to men and they want to live out that fantasy and pretend like because we have, some of us have the parts that we have, that it's somehow less gay. It ain't. If your man can look at me and still think he's straight, come on now. Be so fucking for real. Don't nobody, and I mean nobody, that's trans, want anybody who don't want to be with somebody trans. I'm not going to say it again. You heard me the first goddamn time. All right. Well, that's all the time I have for today. And I want you all to have the day that you deserve.